Nicolas Maduro has appeared in a US federal court overnight, pleading not guilty to narco-terrorism charges. The former Venezuelan president maintaining his innocence, declaring he is a decent man who was kidnapped from his home. This comes as Venezuela officially has a new interim president. Delcy Rodriguez has just been sworn in at the National Assembly. The country now grappling with a new strange reality as President Trump turns his sights on other Latin American countries, including Colombia and Cuba, Greenland too. For more, we're joined by Richard Newton, retired Lieutenant General with the US Air Force. Good morning to you, Richard. Maduro has pleaded not guilty, still claims he is the president of Venezuela. We've just seen those pictures of Delcy Rodriguez being sworn in. Is he? What is the situation there?
Well, good morning, Eddie. Good to be with you. By the way, his wife also pleaded not guilty in federal court today in New York City. He is not the president of Venezuela. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has been installed as the president per their constitution. And so the key here is now trying to determine what's next inside of Venezuela as both Maduro and his wife now proceed to trial. But nonetheless, he is not the president, but all eyes are now focused and should be on what's happening in Venezuela and what are the next steps.
Well, that is the question being asked right around the world right now. The initial confrontational tone from Delcy Rodriguez saying will never again be anyone's colony has now shifted to a much more conciliatory tone, inviting the US government to work together on an agenda of cooperation. So what happens? Will we see US boots on the ground here?
I don't think we'll see U.S. boots on the ground. And that conciliatory tone that you just underscored, I'm sure she had a conversation with our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. And so we'll see how that proceeds in terms of her own, how she, now moves forward as now the president of Venezuela. But I don't anticipate boots on the ground, nor would I advise the president or the administration to do so. I think there's three options here. One is to put boots on the ground. You're talking several thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops. I don't think that's in the cards right now. Secondly, it could be just to let the current regime, the post-Maduro regime, what I would call Maduro 2.0, go ahead and continue to rule Venezuela with an iron fist. I don't think that's going to happen at all. Part three, or an option three, would bring in the opposition and so forth, and see if they could take flight inside of running the government here. I think it's going to be a combination of options 2 and 3 that I just gave you, Eddie. I want our viewers to understand Venezuela already has democratic institutions already established: an executive branch, a national assembly, their legislative branch, as well as their Supreme Court. And they have a civil society. Now it's just a matter of, and it's going to take time to give that effort, that democratic society, a chance to flourish.
What will be so interesting is if those US oil companies go in, which is the plan, whether security forces will be provided to them, and also what happens in the rest of Latin America, Colombia, as I mentioned, Cuba, and also the attention shifting to Greenland too as well. Richard, thank you as always for your expertise, and no doubt we'll speak a lot over the coming months. Here's David.